Hello out there in Retro TV Extended Universe. I'm Romak.
And I'm Blossom Drury, and welcome to Talk Ship Get Hip, the only Love Boat podcast review show
to ever exist.
There might be a few out there, but we've
confirmed the existence of a few others previous to us.
We are certainly
this. However,
the most fabulous.
There's no other kind. I mean, there's the kind that doesn't have us.
Right, which is just not one that you're interested in. We're here. We are jumping in. At this point, episode 0 is out, but this is the real deal. This is the beginning of the rest of our lives. This is episode 1. We are today reviewing season 1, episode 1
of the eponymous Love Boat TV show. Technically, was there one movie before the show, or were there like 2 movies before the show?
No, because you were learning this in real time with the audience last week. I
was already learning this last week.
There are 3 movies. 3 movies before the show.
3 movies before the show.
But we're here. We're transporting ourselves back to September 24th, 1977.
77.
This is the first episode. But before we jump in, we have to do what I think we're going to practice in every single podcast episode. We're gonna do a boarding of sorts. Some could say a check-in. Some could say a loading of cargo, of emotional cargo, of just personal well-being cargo. How's my sister doing? How are you?
I am. I'm feeling pretty good. It's been quite a crazy week, and I can't say been. I want to speak as though it's past tense, but really we're in the middle of it. I'm enjoying myself. I'm remembering to have fun, and I'm remembering that I wanted to be busy and that I brought being busy upon myself. But yeah, it's giving. I like to say booked and cursed, but I don't want people to think of this the wrong way. But I think booked and cursed is like, I'll explain it as, it's not, obviously, we're appreciative of every booking. However, like, booked and cursed is that feeling of being like, oh my God, I have so much to do. Booked and cursed is that feeling of like wondering if there's going to be any resolve to this concept that you're trying to hit people over the head with, and is it going to land? That's booked and cursed. And the stress of booked and cursed is kind of cool. It's kind of like an energy source if you're one of those people who can like throw a little bit of chaos into your life. But it's good. It's been a busy week. It continues to be a busy week. There's lots of shows. We did a show together the other night.
We slayed.
It was a lot of fun. I had never even been to that venue, the Get Down.
Yes, I have been. I had performed there before, but yes, I'm obsessed with this. Booked and honey, you can't be booked and blessed if you don't also feel booked and cursed.
I think that it's just no one wants to say booked and cursed, but I think if we all embrace booked and cursed, that's just like, you can't be afraid of that shameful id telling you that like maybe you shouldn't have done anything anyway. You've got to embrace it.
Yeah, well, you're speaking to the real human part of being a drag queen, a drag artist, a performer, which is that I would say across the board, most performers I know, most drag artists I know, do experience a level of anxiety or mounting pressure before a performance, before a number. There's all kinds of factors into getting to the magic of doing the thing.
Which is why you have to make sure that whatever you're doing is like particularly, well, this is actually only what works for me, but I find that if you remind yourself of how stupid what you're doing is, it's a really good like little check-in that like it doesn't have to be that serious to you. Like you can just be like, okay, well, I'm throwing board games around everywhere and eating like sorry pieces to a Jewel song that more people than I was expecting to remembered.
The audience loved it. The audience they were at the Jewel sing-along. They were at the Jewel tribute show for 5 minutes while my sister was on. Painted green for the gods. She's getting Painted green again. I love this for you. I love your fantasy being booked and cursed. And I think
green twice in the same week.
And green, that's where the curse comes in. No, think from my perspective, I get to say that you are booked and blessed and you are slaying it. So
thank you.
I'm glad the cargo this week it's busy. You know, she has a lot of bags, maybe, you know, not a lot of baggage, but a lot of bags that she's checking into this week.
And I'm just being melodramatic. It's not that hard being green. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also slay while being green.
Exactly.
Yeah, feeling similarly, feeling booked, and well, now I feel like I have to come up with a third one that isn't blessed or cursed. Well, I feel like if you're doing booked.
No, go ahead.
I think if you're doing booked and blessed, I think there needs to be something else in cursed, not cooked and cursed, because
cooked and cursed is sick though. I don't know, but cooked and cursed, that implies like, who wants to eat the cooked meal that you are now if you're cooked and cursed? Like, what were you cooked for? How were you prepared? And you're cursed.
Right.
But I don't know. Booked and cursed is great.
Yes.
Booked
I don't feel booked
and
cursed. I feel booked and blessed, but booked and busy for sure. There is that element of it always. But yeah, it's just go. I think I'm in a place right now where I'm like, once again, reassessing of like, you have to stop and smell the roses, of course, while you're being booked, you know, because there's so much magic along the way too. But you
have to let yourself have fun.
Yeah, but this is a good point. We want to clarify that for those watching or for those just listening. We do look gorgeous. My sister's wearing a beautiful little red doggy Dalmatian sweater. I believe I heard a hand-me-down from, once again, shout out 2 episodes in a row, our lovely fashionista drag mother Violet Hex.
Yes.
I'm wearing a cute little orange thing also for those just listening, but we will be in drag one day on the podcast. But this is all to say we're booked and busy, so sometimes we're just busy.
Exactly. This is giving the moments in between the most important moments to treasure or something.
Right. That was super convincing.
As we were talking about, you know, you cannot let you can't not appreciate it. There was a time when we weren't able to do anything. Right.
I think before we jump into the episode, I feel like another part of our segment of our loading cargo, of our boarding, our check-in at the top of the episode should center a little bit about love, right? I mean, this is Talk Ship, Get Hip. We're here to talk ship, talk relationship. My sister, do you have any romantic occurrences, happenings, the shakenings in this current milieu that you want to share or debrief with me, or what is that landscape looking like right now? How are the waters out there?
Thank you for asking. The waters are surprisingly warm for being Alaskan. There's always a few things going on in the pipeline, but I had a nice little visit from a Twitter boyfriend over the week, and managed to make a little bit of time to hang out and go on a couple of dates, and that was very sweet. So there's always something cooking around. It's good to have at least a few sandwiches in the pan, Uncrustables in the DVD player, fish in the washing machine.
Right. I'm glad there were 3. I would be concerned if there were not 3 unhinged phrases there. Yeah, bringing up a great point. If you're not following Romy on Twitter, you should certainly. I mean, you should look at it first before you follow it.
Yeah.
No, you will chuckle, and you will get a lot of streams of consciousness.
It's a peek into my mind.
A peek into her mind, yeah, if you dare.
There's a version of The Shining with this part where Shelley Duvall opens up this door and the room's all full of skeletons, and it's kind of nonsensical, but of course it's speaking to the greater ghostly history of the Overlook Hotel. But anyway, in some of the cuts for time, because it's such a long movie anyway, they cut out the skeleton part, and I've been thinking about how upset I am about sitting down sometimes to watch The Shining and then finding out that it's the non-skeleton version, and it's kind of toward the end of the song where movie where it's crescendoing and there's the whole chase sequence in the maze. But anyway, I was tweeting about that oh, we can only watch the skeleton version. Me and all my homies hate the non-skeleton version. But I feel as though the point I'm circling back to is that my Twitter, if you care to follow it, is like when Shelley Duvall opens that room and it's full of skeletons and she like screams and closes it and then goes back to the main part of the story that she's in, like the dilemma that's happening. That's like what my Twitter is.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Opening a room full of closets is like going into your Twitter. Or the whole experience. You are the lodge. You are the blood falling down the elevator shaft.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get on. I had to call a car today. I wasn't able to get on the 75 home enough to do a quick change after work at the salon because there was a ton of blood on the 75.
Oh no! Seriously?
Yeah, no, seriously. Okay. The bus came. And everyone tried to board. No, it's quite fine. And the bus driver comes out and he's like, hey, everyone, no one can get on the bus. Like, there's blood everywhere. And I thought about The Shining. So, anyway, it all cycles back.
It all cycles back to transportation justice.
Exactly.
God bless that bus driver. I am wishing for them.
I have no backstory to this.
Sure. Yeah, and that's probably for the best. But... amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That
Speaking of
the Romantic Waters update that took us to bloody public transportation.
Yeah, speaking of my romantic life, yeah. That's the allegory. You're waiting for the next bus because there was blood on the one that came.
Right. Well, luckily we have some wonderful but fictional love stories that we could talk about.
Wait. We only talked about my...
Yeah, that's fine. Well, maybe we're doing a thing where we trade off every episode.
Yeah, I actually like that idea.
Or it's just if we can always say no. People out there, you can always say no.
That's
you can
true.
say no to anything that you don't want to share.
We'll check in next episode, and we can wait more time if we need to.
It just becomes a running bit.
Aw, that would actually be a really cute running bit,
shares.
I think. Yeah.
No, Blossom will share.
Yeah.
But no, Blossom will share her feelings and reactions about some of the romance and non-romantic plot lines because there isn't just romance covered in The Love Boat. But we're here. We're here on season 1, episode 1, official episode called. Because we'll explain later. But Captain and the Lady / centerfold / one if by land. ... I think, or maybe that was just all I could copy and paste of the episode. But 3 slashes because each episode, I think, as we've discussed, has 3 plots. An episode of The Love Boat is interwoven between 3 plots. 3 couples usually. So we have lots to talk about today.
Very true. Very true.
Just another little synopsis. Before we even jump in, we need to ground ourselves in this space. Not ground water because we're on sea.
Right.
We need to water ourselves. We need to tell the lovely audience members, or remind the lovely audience members of our podcast of who the core cast is of the podcast, or of the Love Boat.
Right.
The core cast of us podcast is us too, and guests that we'll have on.
Exactly.
But it's just family right now.
At the moment.
So guest judges, guest stars, guest passengers on each episode of The Love Boat, but a core cast of 5. So we can take turns alternating reading this cast. So first we have Captain Merrill Stubing, and he's played by actor Gavin MacLeod. Captain, he's our captain. What is it? Captain, my captain?
Oh, Captain, my captain.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
Yeah.
Oh, Captain, our
Very
captain.
Very possessive. Our captain, really.
Yeah. he's everyone's, well, if you want him to be.
I mean, he looks like he could kind of be everybody's captain.
Yeah, you felt some sparks.
I did.
Honey, the sailor hat stays on.
Yeah.
During sexy time.
The hat definitely adds a lot.
Yeah. So he's our captain, but he's not necessarily the protagonist, I would say. I feel like kind of evenly between the core cast of 5, it's split pretty evenly sometimes. Some of the cast gets their own, filler, or their own arc.
Right. I like how you said filler episode, but no, it's true. It's good when everyone gets like their arc, so you get to know them more. We also have Dr. Adam Bricker, played by Bernie Copel.
Now, Doc, referred to as Doc on the show usually,
Doc.
as doctors are sometimes, as a captain might be called captain.
Or people self-appointed gurus like Doc Antle, not a real doctor. Tells everyone to call him Doc.
Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz, Doc Oz.
Dr. Phil. No, okay.
Doc Phil.
Some docs for sure. So, he's a fun character. He's kind of a pervert vibes. He kind of gives older, late 70s, glasses, pervy boy boots house down.
Yeah, like weird, unsolicited slice of life, patronizing advice with a rub on the shoulder sort of vibe.
Right. I think it felt weird, pervert, that word coming out of my mouth, because I don't really have a relationship to that word. I think really it's he sometimes, given his profession, he could maybe sometimes cool down with the sensuality of it all.
Yeah,
We'll get more into that as the Love Boat and as our podcast unfolds. So we also have a ship's purser, which we were trying to figure out what that. But essentially, he's kind of like a lackey. He is wheeling everyone's luggage around.
a purser.
He's moving people's purses, maybe.
Purses,
but
darling.
It's Gopher. That's Gopher Smith. Also called Yeoman. That was a name that once existed, or maybe still exists. Apologies if your name is Yeoman. I've never met one in my real life yet. Played by a certain Fred Gandy. But Gopher's cute. I was saying to Romy earlier, I think you and Gopher would kiki very well.
You were saying, yeah, we both seem to jump to, am I allowed to say homicide? But there was a
You're allowed to say
homicide.
whatever you want, Romy.
There was a homicide joke, and
assassination.
there was an assassination joke, and that's what made Blossom say that we would be endeared to one another, Gopher and I.
He's also just a goofy boy. He's giving goofy. I guess a lot of people have bowl cuts, but he especially has a bowl cut. And Gopher is just an apt name for him. He's just a little goofy boy.
Yeah, kind of serving that. Purser. I'm still hung up on the term purser.
Me too.
You purse your lips. You carry a handbag.
I thought about that too. Yeah.
You paint a house. You polish your nails, darling.
Sounds a little fruity.
Does.
Bartender
Isaac Washington, played by Ted Lang.
Do you remember him?
Oh yeah. So bartender is giving like sweet, kind of content to be in the background of the things, but you can tell he's going to get like an arc. I think you even gave away that there's going to be like a whole like little love interest with him moment, or probably at least a couple on the many seasons to come of the show. But giving very sweet side character who eventually gets like some due attention or something. That seems to be the setup for this.
Yeah, he's definitely like a good guy TM, very heartfelt. He is at the bar, which he has a venue, like a site associated with him in the show. Like people are coming to him for drink. I guess that could be also said about the doctor, but especially Isaac, the bartender, because he is building rapport with like the crew, with the passengers, people are coming to get a drink for a variety of reasons, but they could be coming with woes in their heart.
Exactly.
So he's kind of playing, many roles. He wears many hats, but
quick with a joke or a light of your smoke, like in the Piano Man song.
I see. Isaac is also the one person of color out of the core cast of 5, which I think is important to mention. That surfaces in many ways, but in this we're starting off the season, the series, with a cast of guest stars of people of color, so that's cool. It's not a total flop in that department.
It's giving some diversity. It's compartmentalized in a very weird way that feels very of the time, and however, could be a lot worse.
It could
hold up a lot worse.
Right. And then finally, rounding out our core cast of 5, we have the only femme, the only lady of the core cast, cruise director. Which, come on now, great position to have on your resume, honey. Cruise director Julie McCoy, played by Lauren Hughes. And Julie's fabulous. She's turning looks. She's keeping people on an agenda. She's walking around the cruise being like, honey, are you going to come to the fitness class? Or do you need a date to the ball tonight?
Right.
She's kind of keeping the party pumping.
She was Dorothy Hameling it with her hair possibly before when it was like topical. My timeline, my pop culture knowledge right there gets a little iffy on that, but you know, it's definitely like a generational thing. Like I remember doing hair first couple of years when I'd have like, you know, ladies of a certain vintage, they would ask for like the Dorothy Hamill. And that's definitely what she is serving, this cruise director. Like, in the structure of it, like I've been looking at her hair the whole time. In every shot, I'm fascinated by it. The way that it's cut, the way that it's styled, it's very interesting. But it's a serve.
Absolutely, yeah. And more on that. I mean, as the ladies we are, as drag queens, as fashionistas ourselves, like we will be paying attention to the hair, the look, the accessories, the garments, the suits, the 2-piece or 3-piece suits, we even have a segment for it coming later as well. But
the branded extermination t-shirts.
Yeah, wait, what was it called? Hired Killer.
Hired Killer.
Our merch
so
is dropping.
based. I want, honestly, like, what kind of legal repercussions, if any, would we be facing for, I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself, but if we have merch, the Hired Killer shirt or some riff on the Hired Killer shirt, I'll just say now, would be fabulous.
Amazing. It would be a great way to honor the first episode, which is a great transition. We can explain why there is an exterminator in this episode. On this episode that officially received a 6.8 out of 10 review on IMDb. That's not bad. That's like a C-.
I think that's a C+.
A C+, okay. So, Exterminator is in this plot, but let's give the full tea, or at least the plot that was listed on IMDb with a little edit from us. So, Captain Stubing's ex-wife has remarried and is on the cruise this episode. She's kind of chosen the ultimate serve to go on your ex-husband's cruise.
A power move.
It's a power move.
Psychological intimidation. Lots of jokes. She probably had a whole script because she's coming for him. She's reading him to filth the whole time. At every opportunity, they sit at the weird, like, she insists upon sitting at the captain's table and then having him, like, kicked out of the captain's table while they eat their, like, weird 70s caviar aspic thing and, like, on a leaf of romaine.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
And not only are they exes, but it seems they had some rocky waters. You know, they haven't spoken. So it's kind of a surprise to maybe see your ex-spouse on the cruise that you're a captain of. So that's plot 1 of 3. Remember, comes in 3. Good things come in 3. We have former centerfold of the Kitten magazine, Sandy Rytel. She is boarding the Pacific Princess today. And she is attending the cruise with her boo, who is recently an elected official or running for office. It seems, maybe rerunning, and it's become quite troublesome because her centerfold issue has hit the stands once again, and she is rather concerned that this could jeopardize her boo's campaign.
Yeah, despite the fact that she used an alias and wore a brunette wig, she could have just said that it was someone who looked like her. I mean, cousin. Like, the fact checking at the time, I mean, like, the resources weren't really there for people. I mean, but I'm not going to say, I mean, we would have no plot for that whole vignette if she could just lie her way out of it. So she has to go and try to find the men who are looking at her centerfold on the ship and, like, destroy or confiscate the centerfolds from them, but in kind of like a slapstick, situational I Love Lucy way where she's doing kind of like a, you know, a version, like a misdirection, look over there, and then, like, burning this guy's centerfold while he's just openly looking at it, like at the pool where there's like the family pool during the day. I mean, I don't know. It was 1977. I don't know if Star Wars had come out yet. I think it had, but the climate was a lot different is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. You bring up a good point. It's a known fact that characters cannot lie in the Love Boat, but or at least they can't lie if it would benefit them, or if it would make the plot a lot easier.
Yes.
There's no fun in that.
No.
That's number two. So the third plot in this episode of season 1, episode 1, is a certain Miss Jenny O'Brien. Hopeless romantic, is that a phrase that we resonate with? But it feels apt for her. She is really trying to get her boyfriend Ronald Baker, to marry her. So she decides to take some time. She boards the Pacific Princess on a little cruise trip with her solo, just with herself. Kind of, because then we meet Suzanne Summers, who I know you're very excited to talk
Yes.
about. But essentially, the whole plot for Jenny, Miss Jenny, is that her boo is not on the cruise, but is following her along the cruise and just kind of driving along as the ship sails and is trying to woo her over.
Shadowing her. Like the way that like a super fan would shadow like a band or an artist and just go to every stop, which is pretty wild. And he chooses to, like, his mode of transport is his branded like bug extermination van, which is where the hired killer shirt comes in. So he has this like super based, like, okay, so I don't know if this is a thing that used to happen. It's an interesting trope. It's an interesting slice of Americana, and it's in a lot of like older movies and shows, but where an exterminator is driving like a super wacky caricaturized van with like a big upside down dead roach on the top of it or something. And on this one, he has this like big fly. It's so sick. And it is alluded to. I don't want to do spoilers, but it's alluded to that
We can spoil.
Yeah, there's like, maybe they come back and when they're together, there's maybe some sort of weird toxic spill, and one of the babies that they have is like a normal human baby, but then the other one's like a fly baby, and then they like, anyway, but
Okay, that was not alluded to, but you got me there too. But no, on the topic of spoils, this is about 5 decades ago. So for real spoilers, we will be spoiling. If you are listening and have not seen the episode, I'm sorry, my dears, but you had 5 decades.
Yeah,
but,
in case you were wanting to watch this ancient TV
right.
show.
But Romy's retelling will always
first.
be
Canon.
Yes, and also a spoiler to us all, because none of us have heard this except the little people in Romy's head that have crafted these wonderful things. No, I'm not denying your reality, but
Wouldn't that be so based though?
well, yeah,
because it comes back as like a reveal. Like they do a wrap up with like, and they come back to them and they're like so happy, and they're all going on the cruise later as a family. And Suzanne Summers is there randomly for some reason too, and she's there with her kids.
She's the godmother.
Yeah, she's the godmother, exactly. And then she goes to see like her godchildren, and like one's this like really cute little baby, and then the other is this like really based fly kid that's like, I don't know, maybe listens to nu metal.
From the House of Romak. Okay.
Yeah, and wears.
Okay.
But anyway, I digress. So
Tell me more about Suzanne Summers.
Suzanne Summers is introduced. Her character is introduced as like the bunkmate of Jenny. So she comes in. Jenny's kind of like on this like, I'm going to take a break for myself and go on this nice cruise and think about what I want from my life, and setting this boundary with Ronald to, make sure that we can have nuptials, because that's what she wants in life. And then Suzanne Summers is just sort of there like, hey girl, I'm your bunkmate. Tell me what's going on with everything. Like, let's dish, let's go out, let's have fun. Let's go like, drink a handle of bourbon and like go downstairs in the lobby and drag and like dance the conga line. She's
basically
like
us on a cruise.
Yeah, exactly. She's giving fun party friend who wants to also like kind of have a, be the supportive friend, but also have like a say, like, that kind of like, girl dump him kind of friend.
Yeah.
A little bit. But yeah,
She
she's
came
everything.
she came to have a good time. She's
Yeah.
she's getting off on every stop on the cruise. She is buying the handmade artisan bags, the woven goods.
She is. She has souvenirs and tchotchkes in almost every shot, except for the shots that are just there to facilitate like whatever outfit she's wearing. She clearly packed. I don't know if she packed like if she did the style of packing where you throw everything in and then you put the outfits together later, but it seems as though the outfits were pre-coordinated. It's like Suzanne Summers really had a plan to have a great time on this.
Oh,
cruise.
absolutely. She came to turn looks.
Yes.
Her package, her drag race package for the Pacific Princess cruise was everything.
She was, WoW allowed her an extra secret suitcase as like preferential treatment.
Right. And we will be reviewing those looks very shortly. That will be maybe our next segment after we get into some more of these juicy bits of the plot, or at least our retelling and what we remember and what stood out to us. Really, you'll have to watch for yourself to get the full tea, but you're getting the Romy and the Blossom retelling of what stood out to us. Would you want anything else?
I mean, that's what the show is for.
Right. So Suzanne Summers is there. She's slaying it. She's having a good time. And now let's jump back to Captain Stubing's ex-wife. This is the first episode of the series of the season, so it's a good opportunity for us to like be seeing some core elements of the cast of the five, the quintuplet, penta. What are their prefixes for five? Pen and Quinn, I guess those are the five.
I guess.
Okay.
I guess those are the two that I can think of. I get with Stubing, you get the impression that he really cares. I think his whole arc in this episode is to show how much he cares for, his lady who's the sea or something.
Yes, he cares for his lady, the sea, all seven of them.
And the ship, the love boat.
And his crew.
And his crew.
Yeah, he has a very deep love, not romantic like we've talked about. There's many flavors of love in this show, but a kinship, a professional, we could say community. That word gets used a lot, but
a sense of responsibility for.
Yeah, there is almost a paternal element for Captain and his crew for sure. But we see again his ex-wife. Her name is Stacy, in this show, this episode. She's going through it. I mean, in a fun way. She came on to this cruise to prove a point. She is inspecting every pipe, she's inspecting every tube. What else is that? What are the parts of a ship?
So I guess she's not there just to be on the cruise as a power move, but she's also like the ship inspector.
Well, yes.
Or something.
She has another in because not only did she bring her new husband on the cruise,
right,
but she brought her new husband who is a cruise line exec. So she has an in. I think it's mentioned in the episode that, she could potentially, have some power in maybe taking Stubing down, maybe demoting him, maybe whispering in some execs' ears about, oh, my cruise experience was terrible, darling.
So she's showing up with her new man to like get her ex-man fired.
Essentially.
It's pretty amazing. And, the trope of like, the nightmare ex-wife who returns and has only mean things to say. She could have been like one of the original ones of that, like before, like
she originated
Lilith
the role
from Frasier or Maris Crane from Frasier.
Various women from Frasier.
Before any of those, iconic, terrible ex-wife characters, she could have been like the first one.
Yeah. And she does it well. And I mean, we stand her obviously, but I imagine, she is certainly vilified in this episode. She's made to be kind of our antagonist, but we do get a very heartfelt moment between the two with some kind of attempt at closure and resolution. But, that's a central part of this plot as well. And she turned some looks too. We clocked the wig. The wig
was quite shiny.
It was shiny.
But that's kind of okay.
It's okay, but you're on a cruise, darling. The sun is shining. It's going to shine right back on your wig.
That's true. There's a lot of light to reflect.
And then, I guess it's kind of sensible what would happen with Miss Sandy Rytel, the third of this trifecta of plots, Miss former Kitten magazine cover girl. She finds out that her boo actually supports the issue, or we entered some interesting waters here. People didn't necessarily support her. Some of the other femmes were like, girl, why did you do that? And then the men in the episode were like, you're beautiful, like you were, which is fine, but no one really, and I guess delivered what I would expect or want from someone to just be like, yeah, it's your choice, you exactly. Be on the cover, darling.
That was kind of something that like rubbed me the wrong way, something a little bit like of the time, something a bit temporal about it was like Miss Julie, when, you know, she was trying to be supportive, but she kind of has this like, can I ask you, what were you thinking posing for that magazine, in this very like 70s way? And instead of just being like, none of your business, like, I do not even know you, are you not an employee of the ship, am I not a guest? She's just kind of like, oh, you know, like, let's sit down and have tea about it and talk about it. And I was just in the kind of this like, oh, girl, it's a long story. Circumstances were rough, which is really very sweet. She could have just been like, how dare you ask me that, you know? But I mean, I guess, or just been like, because I wanted to, because it was a gig, like, but I don't know, very different attitudes.
Yes.
But I mean,
it's not clear we support you being on a magazine cover in whatever formation of clothing and nudity you want to be, because honey, I want to be on the cover of magazines.
Exactly.
Maybe I'll be clothed just for my fantasy, at least for my debut, but
print media will never die. If you want to do the Angeline thing and get a billboard, or have a benefactor get you a billboard, that would be cool. Definitely. We should always
nothing
be celebrating
to promote except yourself.
Exactly. A celebration.
So yeah, we find out that her boo, you know, he's not disapproving of the magazine, but he's also not approving. He's more so like, yeah, I thought you were sexy, which is that is a form of approval. But he also was kind of like, no, this could help my campaign. It could create buzz, and that's kind of like, okay.
Buzz through scandal.
Buzz through scandal.
Kind of scandal. I don't know. Maybe. Either way.
All press is good press? Question mark. No.
The important thing is that it doesn't seem to change things. He already knew. He wasn't judgmental of her. That's the whole point, I guess. Sure. All the other questions are supposed to be, you know, it's kind of forgotten. But Kitten magazine.
That's fabulous.
And, you know, it looked like every time they showed it, it looked like the attention to like creating the prop of it. Like it looked like a real magazine, and the photo on it that they kept kind of showing that was supposed to be her looked like it was styled and posed really like fabulously. Like it looked absolutely. Kind of stunned.
Oh, in this podcast, in this duo, in this house at large, we love a prop.
Yes.
We will do our deep dive into the world, the art form, the profession, the artistry of prop comedy.
Yes, which is essentially like, you know, 3 basic ingredients. You make your props. Other ingredient is have people make props for you that are better, and then destroy all your props during your performance. Is basically
the Romak
the formula. School. Yeah.
I mean, yes, I like to make. That's part of the art of it for sure. The embodied process, ritual of prop making. And I have a little drawer for all my props. It's called, I labeled it with a label
She's
maker.
so organized. Her drag room is amazing. Her apartment is always clean. It's very cute.
Thank you.
It's admirable. It's something
it's actually a host to a lot of our friends' props right now.
Oh yeah.
So I can't really navigate. Honey, there's lots in there. But yeah, we love a commitment, committing to the bit, committing to making Kitten magazine for this episode and for printing copies of it.
Yes.
Or maybe was it a real magazine? No, because it was just very Playboy fill-in.
I was fascinated by those interview magazines that you made. Those were amazing.
Those were fun. Yeah. You were cover of one of them.
I was. I know. It was my favorite one.
No, yours was really good. I mean, that's because Romy, I mean, clearly there's a visual element to our podcast, but Romy really is the vintage beauty. She's the modern and current beauty, but Romy's beauty, it spans time.
Thank you.
I feel like if we go to Greece and we look at sculptures, we will find a bust of Romy somewhere.
They did have ladies with the Baphomet build in those statues.
Yeah.
They did have matching physicality here and there.
Right. Yeah, you had your horns and your goat tongue sticking out. I forgot about that part. But that's really those are the highlights of the plot, truly. I mean, what are some other parts we missed? The short shorts, bring back men wearing tiny, tiny, tiny shorts.
With a high waist cut and everything and a racing stripe.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a weird blue racing stripe on like a taupe short. It's kind of sick.
Right. And the connecting point here between Kitten Magazine, we see that Doc had a copy of it in his place of work, which is fine, I guess. But, you know, when he interacted with Sandy, the cover star of the magazine, it was giving weird vibes for sure. So we see, you know, this is again first impressions. We're getting first impressions of the core crew in this first episode. But that's truly it. And one standout line for me from the plot, and then maybe we should get into some fashions and review some of these. But we see Doc. He finally kind of stands up to Stacy at the end of the episode. I don't say finally because I was rooting for that. We were rooting for Stacy and her cross to bear, really.
Of course. And, you know, the chemistry that they have, the actors and, like, the characters of Stacey and Ron, it's cute. They've got a little joking rapport. They're even able to carry, like, a kind of jokey TV dialogue by, like, through shouting at one another from, like, 100, 200 yards or whatever measurements are, like, from a boat to...
Well, knots we have to use for nautical purpose.
Knots. Mm-hmm. That's a unit of measurement? I didn't even know that.
I think so. Or
knots,
and leagues.
20 knots, 20 leagues.
I think a knot is a thing.
A knot.
We'll do research.
So is a knot like the size, like a garlic knot? Is it like...
Yeah, it's one...
It's one garlic knot.
One Little Caesar's garlic knot distance. Well, certainly those must vary in shape and size. But, yes.
Probably not, though. They're probably...
No, but the line that... the captain says towards the end, he tells Stacy, his ex-wife, "You will not treat my crew like a bunch of incompetent boobs. They are the best crew in the world." And that is very cute to see Captain have a very heartfelt moment. We see in episode 1 that he cares deeply for his crew. He thinks that they're the best in the world, which is adorable, I think.
I think that, like, calling people boobs... It just, like, I know, like, I've been familiar with it for a long time. Obviously, it's kind of jarring when you watch retro media and you hear something like that, and it's not like a period piece. It's just kind of from that time, and you're like,
bring back calling people boobs.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was thinking about, like, I tried to make calling people dweebs a thing, and it didn't really catch on, but boobs I could see sort of work, but then that's kind of complicated because, like...
Gender.
People like boobs.
Oh, yeah.
So it's an insult to be a boob, but just one boob. I don't understand calling someone a boob.
I don't either.
What is that?
I think it's British because...
Okay,
do you remember the first time you heard someone be called a boob? I remember, for me. And media.
Was it from something British?
It was the Yellow Submarine.
Okay.
I think there's
it's more of an English colloquialism.
And I guess they're not even... they call each other boobs, but I think one of the little animated creatures in one of the realms they go to is called Boob. I think.
What? So Boob started with the Yellow Submarine movie? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe. But that's when I first remember. I remember watching it with my sister, and we would replay that on tape. Did you ever have the Yellow Submarine tape? I feel like I
actually didn't.
It was yellow. At least the one that we had.
To be completely honest, I don't know that I've seen the movie in its entirety, but I would be curious too. The animation style is really interesting looking.
Yeah, it's fabulous. I haven't seen it in a long time, but we should watch it. We'll watch it.
Yeah.
Submarines, cruise ships. But yeah, boob. We'll be thinking about that.
Yeah.
Let's take a break before we dive into the fashion.
That sounds breakalicious. I'm sorry.
No, I love that.
Thank you.
And we're back.
Hello. Thanks for waiting for us.
Thanks for waiting.
I hope you had time to get a snack.
Yeah, that's good to
make
encourage.
S'mores,
yeah, encourage people to snack.
Hydrate. Take a little, meditative break.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well, I mean, when we take a break, does that mean the audience takes a break?
I mean, like, in a way, maybe, and
We have sponsors.
yeah, we have sponsors as a break. I mean, we just give them the courtesy of wiping their memory after the
Right.
break, so it feels like no time has passed, which is like a service that we include
Right.
as a perk.
Yeah. Please pause when
As a-
we say take a break. Please take a break. As the audience listener.
Yeah, and if you don't want to take a break, you kind of already did if you think about it.
Yeah. The
It's
time you
kinda
took to think about it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
really makes you think.
Right. Okay. Episode 1 of Talk Ship Get Hip. We're reviewing episode 1 of The Love Boat of season 1 of the series premiere. Truly, we are introducing segments. We introduced a segment earlier today already. Was there a name for it? I don't know. We're still working that out. It's called Cargo Time. No, but we do have a great name.
Romantic cargo, love cargo, cargomance. Cargomance.
That's when your car goes. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
workshopping that one, but we have a great name for this next segment. Maybe it's inspired by other fashion review. Well, there's all kinds of fashion review things. Did you ever watch Fashion Police with Joan Rivers?
Oh my gosh, I was just talking about her because, obviously does not have a spotless record, but left quite an amazing legacy. And I really do miss celebrities being afraid to walk red carpets because there's someone who's going to like read them the house down.
Mm-hmm.
And that element of fear has been missing ever since she's been gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really sad, and it makes award shows so much less fun.
Truly. Who could fill in her shoes? I mean, people have tried and people have failed, I'm sure.
Right.
Do you remember, not only did they fear being read to filth by Joan Rivers, but even by People magazine, which not saying I endorse
Print media.
At large, I can say I endorse print media, but certain kinds of print media, the people behind them, the executives, the editor-in-chiefs, I don't know. But remember when people would wear the same outfit for the same event, or at even different events, and then they get
who wore it better.
who wore it better, or who wore it best, who wore it better.
It seemed as though it was always kind of like
Racist.
yeah. And if not racist, if it didn't
Sizist.
have an opportunity for racism, it would be sizist, maybe ageist.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one of the. Yeah, it was something like that. But
Yeah. Bad things also come in threes.
yeah.
So we're not summoning those things. We're doing our own version, which, well, I guess one of them does pit. We're calling it Sink or Clink. And that's because we're going to be looking at these looks. We'll put them up on screen as well. So, or if you're listening along, check out our Instagram page. We will post the looks there as well, so that you can go check them out later to see if you agree. But, we're keeping with our nautical theme, and everything has to rhyme, right? So if we don't really like a look that someone was featuring in the episode, we're sinking it. We're giving it a foghorn boo noise.
Mm-hmm.
Soundboard?
Soundboard, foghorn, or a splash of someone being thrown overboard, perhaps.
Someone yelling, and then like the sound of the people falling, and then splash.
Yeah.
And then shark noise.
Yeah, the begging for their life, and then the shark noise, and then the shark being like, delicious.
Amazing.
And yeah.
Or we are clinking, meaning we are clinking our glasses of whatever liquid you want it to be, not just alcoholic. We're clinking in celebration. We are clinking in celebration of the look that brought us joy, or that we
Right.
got life from, that we were living for. No, not, I guess, sure, if that's what you put in glasses. I don't think people do that if they're into that. Or maybe people do. I assume they just take it from the source.
It seems like something Hannibal would have done.
Probably. So yeah, we're sinking or clinking. Sink or clink,
Okay.
But yeah, let's get into it. So look one. We have to start off with at least the classic. Julie, she's serving her classic look. She's giving cruise director executive realness down.
I mean, it is the first episode, and so this being like one of her staple kind of character looks, this being like her, kind of cartoon character everyday thing that she's wearing in a lot of the segments. It's so good, like the structure of it. I love the shoulder cut. I love how high it is, and of course, like I don't know. I enjoy. I mean, I would be pretty happy if that was my work uniform.
Oh, you would look so cute in this.
Thank
Yeah, I mean,
you.
she needs something that like commands attention. Like people need to take her seriously. She's a young, pretty girl, you
Right.
know, and she's directing the cruise. I mean, her job is fun ultimately, but you know, if you see her out and about, you'd say, "Oh, I can ask her a question. What aisle is the hand sanitizer on?"
Right, right. Which, yeah,
No one was asking on this cruise, but you know,
right. Which room do you go if you have the bends?
right. I was trying to summon like seeing someone wearing a red shirt in Target, like you know who to ask
Oh yeah,
typically
yeah,
because it's red.
where the weird Target picture frames with the sick art inside of them
Right,
is.
right. So for this look, we're clinking. We're clinking. I mean, it's her staple, but it's a great
Absolutely.
staple.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be really wrong for us to not clink this. It's very cute
Right.
and it's iconic. It's
Clink.
iconic to the show. Clink.
It's a clink. Oh, we have Julie again. So this is kind of her first evening wear look we get to see of the series.
Yes.
Big impression to make, and she delivered.
Transformative. It's giving like eschewing the prim and proper, showing a little bit of shoulder, a little bit of décolleté. The drama, obviously, with the scarf moment is, and the matchiness of it. I really like.
Florals.
I know the florals.
My only critique now I'm looking at it again, it does age her a little, but I mean it works for her. She's young, but I don't know. It is. Don't think I think I don't need the scarf.
It would be interesting to see without, but it adds so much like regality to it to have
I
the
guess
flow.
I need to see it in motion. I need to see her walking
Yeah.
down the cruise, or I want to see it tied up in her hair.
Oh, sure. I could see that too.
But yeah, we love floral. I mean, I can't not pass up a floral moment as a blossom myself. So, we have to clink. We have no other choice but to clink.
Yeah, I mean we're clinking.
Okay, we have a look here from Miss Stacy, the ex-wife of Captain Steubing. What are you Thinking?
I really love it. I mean, it's kind of giving like the shiny kind of auburnish golden chestnut-ish hairs. I mean, if it had more red in it, it'd kind of be like evoking a bit of like Andorra.
Oh, so you're talking about the wig?
Yeah, we're
Oh,
talking
we can
about
sync and clink the wig separately from the look also, and
Okay.
also from the weird caviar.
the
dish
weird
thing.
dish. Yeah, the weird like cockroach pate with the clamshell around it is. I mean, okay, so of course I want to see the bottom. I am imagining it to be like kind of a pleated, like ankle length at the bottom, but I'm basing that just on what the top looks like. But I like it. I'm liking the detail. I'm liking the color. I want to talk about the unit more than anything because the
Sure.
way that it's styled and the way that it's parted here and the way that the bangs are with the flip at the it's fascinating to me and I kind of love it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna sync it.
No, I'm kind of liking it. I kind of think that like wearing a shiny, wiggy, done almost plasticky looking thing in earnest, like as a serve,
Is camp.
it's camp, but it could come back. And it seemed as though there was a very particular window of time in like the late 60s through like the late 1970s when it was something you could do as like a daytime everyday look and fully get away with it and no one would
Totally.
say anything.
Totally. Yeah, I'll agree on all parts. I mean, I think, you know, I like elements of this. You know, this is for dinner. This is evening wear. It's dinner wear for
Right.
the cruise. Everything is resort wear, I guess, to a degree. It should be. This hand beading, or not hand beading, but maybe it was, but the clusters of beading of sequins, I do like that a lot. I like that the sleeve is like a little more sheer, but you know, if this was in my hands, I'd be probably chopping the sleeves off. If it is a long
Sure.
dress, I'm probably going to turn it mini.
Right.
But I think I'm going to sink it. I don't like the composition of it all.
Yeah.
Look at that big rock though she has from the new hubby.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So here's another example of Miss Stacy turning it, and this is much more successful for me.
I really did like this. This was kind of a standout for her for me, especially the way it's shot on the staircase. like
Skinny strap.
yeah,
Cute length.
cute length, flowy. It does look like it's maybe like I don't know. It's hard to tell what it is. Like it almost looks cottony in this image.
It looks like the terry cloth material that we see a lot in the series. You know, this vintage towel-esque.
Kind of towel-esque, which I do like, and it's that kind of, it's a very orange red. It's like a rust, which is cute.
The wig here looks more successful. Maybe it's a different one, or it's pinned differently. It's more of an updo, you know.
Yeah.
She's got her sunnies in hand. She's got her white pumps. It's a clink.
For me, I loved it. It's very much a clink for me.
Okay, clinks across the board. Okay, we have our first looks here from Miss Jenny and Miss Suzanne Summers. We are sorry, Miss Summers, we do not remember your character name, but that's really a praise because we just worship at the Church of Summers.
It was a vehicle. This was a vehicle for Summers. Even if this was early in her career, you can't tell me it wasn't a vehicle for Summers
for her poetry. You were telling me.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Okay, so. Some people will know the reference to Suzanne Summers' poetry. She has a whole poetry book. She may have multiple poetry books, but I do know of at least one. And there's this video of Kristen Wiig doing a performance where she does a reading from it. And one of the lines in one of Suzanne Summers' poems, which seems to be completely not tongue-in-cheek, like fully earnest, as she says something. And it's like the closing line in the poem, too. And it's just like, never waste all of your love on a dog. And I had this weird realization when Suzanne Summers' character and Jenny were talking, and Jenny's just like, I want a husband, I want companionship. And Suzanne Summers is like, get a dog. And then I'm thinking, was that a self-reference that she was doing in that poem, going against the advice of her character and saying, don't waste your love on a dog? Which is a terrible thing to say, by the way.
It's not the best, but it's a smart thing to say, and it's an interesting thing, and it's a poetic thing to say. I think you could be onto something. But I like what I hear here. What I'm hearing here is that the Love Boat has played a role in inspiring possibly celebrity poetry, which is just bringing more validity to our podcast.
Yeah, celebrity poetry we're bringing light to.
Right.
An underappreciated media form. It's its own print media. Yeah, it all goes back to print media.
These looks, though, it's a serve. I mean, a ruffle off the shoulder. Miss Summers is tanned, maybe burnt a little. Bangles on bangles.
Bangles on bangles. The side ponytail I really love.
Purple and green, Mardi Gras realness.
Yeah.
And Jenny's cute too. She is giving moo-moo, rainbow and white. Gorgeous.
Drowned in baskets.
Clinks all around. I mean,
we're being very nice
We're being very nice, but we like vintage fashion, so it's going to be a lot of clinks, okay?
There's going to be, yeah.
But there will be sinks.
Oh, yeah. There's no way there couldn't be.
Not yet, though. I still like this one, too. So we have Miss Jenny turning it still. Here we can see clearly it's that yellow terry cloth vintage towel-esque fabric.
It's more back with a towel fabric.
But it's almost the same silhouette as Stacy's.
Right.
Maybe this is just a pattern that they had on set or something. But fabulous. Love the headscarf. Silver hoops. Clearly, I love a silver hoop.
Yes.
It's a clink. This color looks beautiful on her.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know. It's what I would want to wear, like resorting. I'd want to wear something like, a nice pop of color, something really breathy, like a cute little headscarf. It's
Absolutely.
It's what you would want to have. It's kind of the fantasy of having the blue ocean behind you and wearing something like that. The weird towel fabric, though, maybe not in today's vision, but I like it. I like it a lot.
No, I do like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clink. This is we're just appreciating the fashion. Okay. So it's clinks all around. I mean, come on now.
Okay. Well, we were having some thoughts about.
Sure. Okay.
So when she first came out in this Maryland t-shirt with the Hollywood sign behind her, it was giving like, I thought it was really cute and it looked really modern. It looked like something that you would see kind of now as someone wearing like a kitsch t-shirt, but it was also giving, as you said, very like going down Sunset Strip when you like, I don't know, when like your partner's family who lives out of state comes into town and you live in LA and you all go to like Universal Studios to sort of hang out, and you go into those weird gift shops and they buy like the James Dean shirt or the Marilyn Monroe shirt. It was kind of giving that.
For like $65.
Right, right.
Yeah. Okay, so this could borderline sink, but the white Daisy Dukes, big bouncy 70s, late 70s flip, this could be Fawcett, right? We could use it as, I'm sure. I know that gets thrown around a lot. But she just looks so sunny, so Cali. It's real cute. But
yeah,
it's not a total serve. It's a casual clink. Totally. It's a light clink.
A raise?
You can't clink until you raise. The raise comes before the clink.
That's true.
Is that one of... We're building a gradient here.
Yeah.
But it's not a sink. It's not a flop for sure. Okay, here we're getting more of the servery. I mean, we're evening now. We're in the banquet hall. In this moment, Suzanne Summers is really telling Jenny to turn a new leaf, girl, and leave that boo behind. Just have a shot. Turn on your womanly charm.
Encourages binge drinking. She orders a whole bottle, and then turns around and forgets that she ordered a drink, and then they go out and dance on the prowl. It's such a good. It's so movie. It's so show. It's so cinema.
Yeah, this hair though, this glamour. I mean, something about this reminded me of Candy Darling actually, which is relevant to talk about because oftentimes in our community, in our scene, Romy is lauded as the modern reincarnation of Candy Darling.
I don't know about oftentimes, but that's very sweet.
Famously, people say. Yeah, it's glamour, it's beauty. The beat is fun. Little hair accessories.
She's wearing, a big lash.
Big lash, big earrings.
The hair is, yeah.
I'm surprised the drag queens like the most draggiest look so far on the show.
So good.
I think we're sinking something here. I like these.
Yeah.
Purple pants on the runway.
I mean, yeah.
Britney Spears.
Kind of, yeah. It's giving American Dream.
Chains. Tousled hair. This is the morning after the
yeah,
drinking.
No, exactly. It's the like going to Starbucks with sunglasses on, a la like 2007 Perez Hilton kind of photo, but you still want to serve.
Look at Jenny's shoes too. Those are stunning.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice those. Those are so cool.
And her look is not complete without the ice pack accessory, darling, to cool down that barking headache. It clinks all around. I mean,
yeah, Suzanne Summers is drinking like a weird pina colada, like milk drink.
It looks very creamy.
Yeah.
Okay. This could be one or the other. What did you think of Miss Stacy's second evening dinner regalia outfit?
It didn't do as much for me. I'm usually a fan of like showing a lot of neck and not doing any jewelry, but I would have liked a necklace with this.
The accessories.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this hair is just goofy. It doesn't... with this look, I know she can't... Is there a hairdresser on the Pacific Princess? I'm not sure. But they could have maybe benefited from one. I don't know. I like polka dots also.
Yeah.
But we have to clink something, so I guess let's just clink this one.
We're sinking it.
Sinking. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
First segment
She's sunk.
that we're doing, okay? We're still remembering which one's which. Okay, this could almost be the ultimate clink for me of the night. I mean...
What band is this? Like, what? This is, yeah.
Totally. I don't know, but Julia is definitely the singer. She is giving Oscars formal... She won some kind of award that you win at the Oscars.
They're giving sophomore album wanting to be taken seriously.
They were in the Grammys, maybe. Yeah. This ruching of the bra with a tiny little upper stomach cutout, the straps that go around the neck. It's a beautiful silhouette. And I would love if it was a pant, like a pantsuit. But
that would be cool, but I do like it.
No, this is, that would take it a little more disco, which we love. But looks great. And Julie slays it. And the boys look cute too.
They do. It's fabulous.
Okay. So here we have Miss Sandy. We didn't really review any of her looks except for her look at the very end when she realizes that her elected official boyfriend approves of her cover girl kitten magazine cover. But she ends the episode in a long sleeve turtleneck dress, which I can't help but feel like is symbolic of something here.
Yeah, and I love the color and the cut of it, and I love it with the necklace. Like I actually love the execution, but for her character, it's this weird trad wife drag that she's doing at the end, which feels a little interesting, maybe a little questionable, but maybe that's who she really is. Maybe that's what she really wanted this whole time.
I guess, yeah. I'm not saying I expected her to walk out at the end of the episode with pasties on. That's all.
That would have been lit. That would have been
fierce.
Fucking sick, yeah.
But necklace over the turtleneck, I just can't help but picture that picture of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the black turtleneck with the gold chain.
God. That is a really iconic
Sometimes I
image.
wear turtlenecks and I put a necklace on and I'm like, oh, reminds me of that one thing. I don't like it. And the tight updo rolled into a knot, it just feels very restrained.
Yeah.
It's a sink for me.
Okay. I'm gonna we're workshopping. I'm gonna brink it. It's on the brink.
Amazing.
Thank you.
She better workshop.
Thanks for allowing.
Okay. This one I mainly wanted to review some suits. It's nice for us to mix up the silhouettes. Here we have Ronald in a very cute powder blue, for me almost like prom king two-piece suit. Cute. Yeah. Super cute.
Super cute. Ronald looks so cute at the end. I love the hired killer shirt so much, but it was nice to, show like the dressed up version at the end. It was very cute.
That shirt under this suit though, that would have been for me.
That would have been everything. Although are we ready to bring back like a blazer and t-shirt? Are we ready for that as a mask look that people like?
I think so. I think that I did like. I was picturing different people wearing that kind of formation.
Yeah. I think it can work.
Well, we don't have a picture of it, but we'll put up the hired killer shirt too. I mean, or maybe we'll have put that up already.
We'll put it up on our merch.
Right. We need to make some kind of spin on it. But was this the last one? Yeah. Well, yeah, because this was the ending scene. Here we have Miss Stacy and Mr. Captain Stubing.
Okay, obvious sink for me. She looks like she just killed the last white rhino.
Not the instant sink.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a confusing look for me. If fashion does play a role in telling a story, which we believe that very seriously here at this podcast, it was a confusing end to her story. I mean, it is giving, like traveler hunting expedition.
Yeah, like we had a great time. Now I'm off to uncover some sort of anthropological artifact that's maybe cursed or haunted. She's gonna Indiana Jones this.
Yeah, it's giving culture vulture. She's gonna
come pillage. She's gonna go pillage the goods of
which we don't like that. Yeah,
no, we don't.
But for her character, it's a sink. It wasn't giving us the ooh ah ah sensation.
No, I mean, it was a cute interaction with them at the end. But yeah, what is she dressed to go do? Raid the Lost Ark.
I guess so. And we wish her well on that journey. But that was Sink or Clink. The fashions. We have to get into the fashions, darling.
I mean, if there's no looks, there's no show.
If there's no looks, there's no show. That's what I say every time I go to a drag show. And sometimes there's no show and something. But yeah, wow, those are segments, and maybe we'll have more in the future. You'll have to stick around to see.
Thank you so much for allowing us to compartmentalize our show.
Me? Or the audience?
I mean, yeah, the audience, but you too, of course, darling.
Yes. Please continue watching. Feel free to check out these looks if you weren't watching already on our Instagram at TalkShipGetHip on Instagram, and email us your questions, your queries, your your just general messages to us at talkshipgethip@gmail.com. What kind of things would you want to expect in the inbox, Romy, that you could respond to, that we could respond to on the show?
I mean, I always like to give unsolicited romantic advice. So any inquiries for that, or maybe some feelers, like maybe please to be on the show as a guest. Maybe we could get one of those Google phone numbers and have people leave us weird messages. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Anything like that, any sort of like dark personal tidbit about yourself or anecdotal slice of life thing that has nothing to do with the show, I would love to read about.
Absolutely. We welcome all those things. And I was gonna say money, but we haven't really set up any of that stuff, but not yet. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for riding along on this cruise. We've returned to our destination for now, and we'll see you next time for our next episode.
Bon voyage. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.